are for the night time, days are wide awake. Visions are for crazy men. Not me, for goodness sake, but I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things, believe me, I've never seen before. My little things deceive me, like when you threw me out the door. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Evaluation day, it says you're supposed to bring one object to be evaluated, not the entire contents of Queen Victoria's house.
Listen, Louis, if I can drive you all over town without complaining, the least you can do is take 5 minutes and help me get this stuff in, okay?
All right. I'm a reporter, Marge, not a junk man. I'm here to report that Egyptian Heisedek thing, whatever it's called. Not walk around. What are you doing?
I got an idea here. We can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can cover the opening, right? And I'll take the stuff in and get it evaluated if you'll just cooperate with me. Okay, babes? Oh, look, isn't that, Gad?
Spencer, that's Spencer. Oh, my God. Did he recognize me?
Oh, only if he's an electrician.
Look at him kiss like that.
Yeah, lovey-dovey.
What's wrong with our marriage?
I don't know, we got a problem, definitely.
We've got too many junk in our hands. We can't deal with the kissing. And I'm supposed to be interviewing him later for crying out loud.
Now, just be careful of this horse, okay? Excuse me. I have something odd here that I want to have evaluated.
She's canceled for today.
What?
She's canceled?
It's evaluation day. It's canceled because of the press due they're having for their new Egyptian exhibit. Have to wait till next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be at that celebration. I'm not going to put this stuff back in the car, Marge, okay? Where can I put this stuff?
You can stick it in the check room. I don't think they're going to charge you for your horse.
Thank you. Incidentally, where is the Egyptian exhibit anyway?
Well, you go right up the stairs, straight down through the Chinese pavilion, hang a lefty at your Roman runes, and she's hard by your Grecian jugs there.
Urns.
Urns what?
Grecian urns.
What's a Grecian urn?
Don't touch that much. Not with a lampshade on your head.
Nice job you've done here, Heather.
Thanks, Mr. Spencer. Hello, Alicia. Hello, Hen.
Hi.
Oh, hello, Ciccone.
How are you, Mrs. Spencer? You met my wife, Marge.
Hello, Mrs. Ciccone.
Hi.
This must be your lovely wife, right? No, I was just saying to Marge how, I don't know, just affectionate the two of you looked in the parking lot. I mean, I tell you, 20 years from now, if we're acting like that with each other in our marriage, I will thank my maker. Believe me, you should have seen them.
Ciccone, this is not my wife. I'd like you to meet Mrs. Alicia Fowler.
This not you. It's not you. Fowler? Mrs. Mrs. Fowler. Right. You're not his wife. I'm sorry. When I saw you in the parking lot, I just assumed that you...
Yes, well, if you'll excuse us, we have to go here to see someone about something.
Right, it's not your wife.
Why don't we go to the other side of the room and see if there's anybody else that you can insult?
What the hell do you expect me to say? I saw them in the parking lot. I figured it was his wife. Do I know he doesn't come here with his wife?
There's nothing to be concerned about. Nothing. Shh. Nothing to be concerned about. Do you know that your boss and Mrs. Fowler were smooching in the parking lot? Smooching? Yes.
Yes, smooching.
In the parking lot in broad daylight.
Giving each other hickey, sucking face, whatever you call it now. Those two were doing it.
I don't think this is any of your business. Oh, no. Well, maybe it's not any of my business. But what about poor Mrs. Spencer? Isn't it her business?
That's it.
Poor Mrs. Spencer is on a yacht with some plastic surgeon in Bermuda.
Talking like a floating hospital thing, or is this a love boat?
Mr. and Mrs. Spencer have been separated for 2 months. Now, if you'll excuse me. You know, this is just like Peyton Place.
2 months, and these people are acting like sex maniacs. I can't believe it. The world is going bananas. Too many soap operas. Look at us. We were separated for, 3 years? There's no wingdings between us, right? Not a single wingding, right?
Well, no.
I didn't have a wingding. You didn't have a wingding, right?
Well,
Did you ever have a wingding?
come on, let's go look at the hieroglyphics.
Wait. Did you have a wingding?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? If you would gather round, we'd like to start the opening ceremonies.
What wingding? Just
Shut up.
They'll begin in just a few moments.
Who the hell is this guy now?
That's Dr. Fowler. He's the head curator for the museum. He put together the Hasidic exhibit.
This is Mr. Fowler. Mrs. Fowler's having the wingding. What the hell is going on in this place?
Are you a reporter for the Gazette or the National Enquirer? Now, please,
What the hell's going on in this place?
Excuse me, are you really a reporter?
Yeah.
I'm covering the opening too for Varsity Rag.
Oh, what's your major? Journalism, huh?
Biz ed poli-sci, actually.
Poli-sci?
Listen, I've never done this before. Could you maybe give me a few pointers?
I've been in this business for 20 years. I know my news. First thing you gotta do is you gotta deal with the 5 W's. There's what, who, when, where. What?
Why?
What?
Why?
Because I want to know. I want to tell him.
I'm answering the question.
It's why. That's, you sure?
Yes.
Who, what, when, where,
Why?
Why. Yes. And you should always be prepared. You got a nice pad there with the cover and
Thank
everything. You got a
you,
piece of
ladies
paper?
and gentlemen.
Sure. Yeah, and then you should have a pen like this.
What you're about to see
Okay, now you got
is the
preparation.
fulfillment of a dream that I've had for over 20 years. 20 years ago, I broke the seal on a tomb that had lain untouched for 3,000 years. It took 15 years of negotiations to get these artifacts into Canada. For the past 5 years, I've devoted myself to fundraising for this wing to house the Fowler exhibit of Hasidek's tomb.
Excuse me, question.
Yes, you are.
Jeffrey Tate, Varsity Rag. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it actually Professor Neil Harvard who discovered the site of the tomb?
Yes, Professor Harvard was instrumental in discovering the tomb.
Then why isn't it called the Harvard exhibit?
Well, actually, it was our guide, Ali Beheshti, who led Professor Harvard to the site. And my wife, Alicia, discovered the stairway. I broke the seal, and 20 diggers completed the excavations. Now, we couldn't name the discovery after everyone, could we?
What a load of crap. It was my uncle's find, and he knows it.
Well, who's your uncle?
Neil Harvard. He's the one who actually discovered the tomb.
Neil Harvard?
Shh.
What?
And now I'd like to ask the son of the man that led me to that tomb, Professor Omar Beheshti of the University of Cairo, to officially open the Fowler exhibit of the Tomb of Hasidek.
It's got a nice hat, huh?
Yeah.
On behalf of the Egyptian government, I welcome you to the tomb of my ancestor, Hasidek, the secret lover of Queen Ashvateri. Would you follow me, please? Watch your heads, please.
Egyptians are very short people in those days, huh? Midget mummies.
Because so few of the hieroglyphics have been translated, there isn't too much we know about this period in Egyptian history. However, we do know that Hasidek was not only the queen's lover, he was also her murderer.
Louis?
The reason so little is known is because my uncle is the only one who's been able to decipher the hieroglyphics.
Again with the uncle, right?
If your uncle knows so much about it, why isn't he here today?
Because Fowler and all of his cronies on the board have taken all the credit, and my uncle has just let them walk all over.
Gee, that is really rotten.
Excuse me, Redfern. The kid keeps crying uncle every 2 seconds here. There's got to be something to this story. What's with the uncle?
Mr. Tate, I asked Mr. Ciccone here to cover an exhibit, not to rehash ancient history. Now, may I have a word with you in private, please?
But wait a second. History's interesting here.
Oh, gee, she's really being a fuddy-duddy today, isn't she?
I don't know. Everybody hates everybody here. Fowler has got the wife there that's having the wingding with Spencer.
Well,
And the kid doesn't like Fowler too much. Look at these. Hey, look at these things, huh? These are very old insects over here. This is probably like 3,000 years old. Look at this. Got a little gray antenna over there. Hold on a second. This thing is moving. What is
Oh, my God, Lou. Those are cockroaches.
Hold it.
Be careful, Louie. If they get out of the case, we're goners.
Look at this one over here. It's got two different colored eyes. Little blue and little green eye.
There's nothing interesting about something that crawls between walls and eats oven grease.
I wonder how the heck they caught these things 3,000 years ago, how they would trap them.
They probably had little roach pyramids.
1,000 pardons, Effendi. My ancestors did not trap the dung beetle. They worshipped it.
Worshipped?
They made little wood carvings of it called scarabs, which they wore around their neck.
It's kind of like the bedbug version of St. Christopher medal.
Right.
One might say so. I wouldn't. But one might.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the prize of our collection. The sarcophagus and the pictographs illustrating the curse of Hessedek. Now, Hessedek was executed because he was discovered in the bedchambers of Queen Ashvateri with a blood-soaked knife in his hand and the body of the murdered queen beside him. Now, when Hessedek was dragged to his death, he uttered this curse.
By the eyes of Ra, all those who would remove me from this place shall be cursed through the generations until the name of Hessedek is restored.
Louie, don't be silly. There's no murder around here.
There was 3,000 years ago. This guy Hessedek was... Wait a second. This guy was accused for a murder that he didn't do.
I didn't spend 15 years getting those artifacts out of Egypt just to turn around and send them back.
Shh. Get there.
Hessedek exhibit stays, and that is final.
The spirit of Hessedek will not rest in peace. Remember the curse. All those who would remove me from this place will be cursed through the generations.
The Hesti, save it for the paying customers.
Hessedek must be returned to the Valley of the Kings. It is dangerous what you are doing.
But your own government agreed.
My government is wrong.
Then stage a coup. Look, if you feel so strongly about this, why did you even come here?
See that my father got the credit he deserved.
You heard me mention your father. Now look, let's forget about this.
It will never be forgotten. Remember the curse of Tut's tomb and the desecration of the temple at Karnak. Lord Harley was found buried to his neck in the sand, his face a feast for the dung beetles.
Don't tell me how it ends. I'm waiting for it to come out on cassette.
Well, Brenda got a little bit hatch, you know. I mean, I hate to think that my relatives were going to be on display in the museum, especially if they were...
Wait a minute, Mrs. Fowler. You're going to talk to me, whether you like it or not.
Shh, it's not Pickens.
You were there. Why don't you tell the truth? You know the credit belongs to my uncle.
I don't like being strong-armed by some preppy boy reporter. If your uncle has a quarrel with the way the exhibit has been handled, tell him to take it to my ex-husband.
You know damn well he's never fully recovered from his nervous breakdown. You ruined him here at the museum, and now you've stolen away the major accomplishment of his career.
I ruined his career. I stole. Listen, Sonny, it's not my fault your uncle is a fruitcake. Look, I'm living my life. He's living his. If he's not doing so well, I'm sorry.
You're sorry. You're going to be more than just sorry. You're going to make things right, or I'm going to expose you.
Don't try to play hardball with me, kiddo. You're just not in my league. You write one word about me, and I'll tell the real press some things about your sweetheart done by Uncle. That will make his scandal of 5 years ago look like a Sunday school picnic.
Sorry to keep you waiting, dear. Is there a problem here?
Not anymore. Is there, Mr. Chambers?
Your problems are just beginning, lady.
Ooh. What an unpleasant young man.
My legs are killing me.
Trouble.
Oh, nothing. He blames me for his uncle losing his director's job here at the museum.
I thought that was over years ago. How does dinner at Winston sound?
Wonderful. But let's make it something light. I have a bottle of vintage Chablis chilling at my apartment.
I could cancel the table.
Silly boy, you must eat to keep up your strength.
Well, the ever-popular popular Mrs. Fowler is about to break a record, leaving with the same man 2 nights in a row.
I'm surprised you managed to tear yourself away from work long enough to notice my comings and goings.
Oh, I don't have to. I can always read about them in the gossip columns.
I'm sure you do. You always were one of life's great watchers.
Actually, darling, I wish that you'd go back to the lifeguards and the tennis bums that you seem attracted to instead of publicly pawing one of our own social set.
Look, we're all civilized adults here.
No, we're not. She's a tramp and you're a fool. And tonight is the end of it. Parading yourself at my opening. I'll not have an embarrassment like this again.
How melodramatic. Let's go, Robert, before he really makes a fool of himself.
We'll see who the fool is.
Got everything?
Watch your back.
Ouch! Watch it! Watch that horse, Blue! Watch the horse, okay? Here. I've got it. Oh, Louie!
Wait, just watch your hand. Hold it.
Oh,
Yeah. Shh. Wait, somebody's coming. You okay?
Look, I'm not going back in that cloakroom.
You got anything you want to get off your chest? Anything that bothers you? Anything at all?
No, just my feet are killing me.
Yeah, it's too bad. Good luck, huh? Here, you can keep this. Thanks a lot. Hotel in the
Watching Boris Karloff in The Curse of the Mummy.
Since when is Barbara from in The Curse of the Mummy?
I switched. I don't like the scary parts. They give me the willies.
I don't know what's the matter with you. You saw Frankenstein 5 times. You never even saw the monster once. You saw The Godfather. You walked out of the theater before they put the horse's head in the bed. You know what you're doing? You're eating the cake and you're leaving the icing.
A bed full of horse's head and blood is the icing on the cake?
Yes, and while we're on the subject of cakes, what about eating your cake and having it too, huh?
I don't know. What's going on here? Did I just leave the room for a minute here or something?
Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about, huh? I'm talking about Mr. No-Neck with the flight bag. Traveling wingdinger.
Listen to me, Louis. When we split up, we decided that we would both explore different areas. Did you think that I was going to explore the storage room in the back of the basement? Come on, Louis. Look at it this way. Out of all the guys in the world, I chose you. Twice.
Rolling
Wait a
Wheels
minute, what
roller
about the
skates
movie?
only $59.95 at your neighborhood hardware store.
Hurry up. Crying out loud. Yeah, hello. Right.
Who is it?
It's Redfern.
Oh,
What?
me, of course. Sure.
Right. Yes, I will. Yes, right away. I gotta go.
Where?
Spencer, he's been arrested.
Arrested? For what?
Murder.
How you doing, Brown? Great. I guess I did notice the bat signal in the night sky over Gotham City.
He's getting good, isn't he? Almost hard-boiled.
Chacon, who in the hell invited you to my nice, quiet murder investigation?
I did.
She did.
What is this, a slumber party?
You wear these little bunny rabbits and men's pajamas? I figured you for sexy and English. That's what you wear.
Who invited you here?
I did. He asked me to phone her.
Mr. Spencer.
Okay, over there. But stay out of the way of my men. Come on.
Look, I want you to try and have a vision.
Try and have a vision. Would you stop, please? What am I, automatic here?
Come on, let's go and see what we can find out from him.
I can't just... What am I going to say to him?
Just talk to him. Come on. Mr. Spencer?
Mrs. Spencer, can you tell me anything about what happened here last night?
The woman I was in love with has just been murdered, and you want a statement for the press? Heather, get him away from me.
Mr. Spencer, I asked Mr. Ciccone to come here. I thought he might be able to help.
How? By By smearing this all over the front page of the Gazette?
No, it's not for the press.
Mr. Spencer, the police found the murder weapon in your hands. I don't think that they're going to pursue any other kind of investigation. Now, Mr. Ciccone here is a crime reporter, and he knows how to investigate these things.
Maybe if you could give me something to go on, then I could,
If I had something to go on, you think I let that cop walk all over me?
Don't you remember anything?
I don't remember a thing. We were having a drink. Alicia was just as alive and beautiful. And then the police were at the door. I had a knife in my hand.
Probably drugged. Somebody must have drugged him with the drink, right?
Yes!
Stoned out of his skull. There's enough Quaaludes here to knock out Northern Dancer. Some Crown attorney.
Drugs? Alicia? I never knew.
Of course you didn't. Come on, you better get dressed. You're coming downtown with me.
I'll have bail posted first thing in the morning, Mr. Spencer. Oh, Mr. Ciccone, if you've ever had a vision, please try to have one now.
I already had a vision.
Did you see who the murderer was?
Yeah, 3,000-year-old Egyptian.
What?
That's what I was trying to tell you before. I had this vision, right? Hasidek, the guy, the mummy we went to see at the opening night, right? Well, he was framed in my vision. I saw that he was framed. Let me explain to you. There's like this room, right, where the queen lives. She's in there. Somebody comes in, sneaks in, takes a knife, ba-boom, stabs her, okay? Then he takes that knife, he or she, and puts it in the hands of Hasidek.
Right.
Which is exactly what is happening to Spencer.
Oh, I hope you're wrong, Mr. Ciccone.
Why?
There was never any question of Hasidek's guilt. He was tried for murder and executed.
Not on.
What are you doing here?
I'm following up on the suspect. My father still won't call me. He doesn't return my calls.
Well, the poor man just lost his wife. He's probably grieving.
I doubt that.
I've always known how little you think of Alicia. But what I overheard in there is even beneath you. To think that you actually asked that minister to cut that sermon short so you wouldn't be late for a tennis match?
See?
You ought to be horsewhipped.
And you just love to do it. We must make a date for it.
What's going on?
What are you doing?
I'm Lou Ciccone from the Toronto Gazette. I just want to ask you a few points about your wife's death.
You get out of here.
I guess I just have to write that you were too busy rushing off to play tennis on the day of your wife's funeral in order to talk to me. You couldn't talk.
Oh, all right, James, you can go ahead. What is it you want, Ciccone?
Well, could you suppose for a minute that Spencer didn't kill your wife?
How can we suppose that? He was caught with the murder weapon in his hand.
Yeah, I know all that, but let's suppose it anyway, okay? Suppose that the real murderer slipped into the apartment, drugged the wine that your wife and Spencer were about to drink, slipped back out, hid on the balcony for a while until the thing took effect, slipped back in, stabbed your wife, unfortunately, took the knife and planted it on Spencer, and then he phoned the police and pretended that he was a neighbor.
But how did this person get into the apartment? There was no break-in.
This person probably has his own key.
A key? A key like this one?
Well, maybe.
That's brilliant, Mr. Ciccone. But with this exception, this is the key to my farm at the Caledon Hills, where I go every night since my darling wife threw me out 6 months ago.
6 months ago, no kidding.
Yes, you see, the police are way ahead of you, Ciccone. They've already checked my alibi.
Right.
And now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a wife to bury and a backhand to perfect. But I would like to thank you for making a dull drive a little more interesting.
Right.
You see, the television set is broken.
My sympathies.
Hey, Paula!
Mark!
Hey!
Spencer. I'm sure you're innocent, right? It's just that, what were you doing at that cemetery? I mean, if I was out on bail, that'd be the last place I would go to.
Ciccone, I was in love with the woman. I simply wanted to go to the funeral.
But why did you run away?
I panicked. When I saw what happened to Fowler, I just ran. It's hard to believe. You spend half your life as a prosecutor trying to understand the criminal mind, and one day it happens to you. It's terrifying.
Who was operating that machine that brings the coffin up and down?
I don't know, one of the cemetery workers. That was hardly what was on my mind at the time.
The police questioned them all. The operator was taking a break.
Somebody dressed up like a cemetery worker.
Do you think it's possible that somebody would want to frame you?
The prison system is full of people who have nothing but time to think up ways to get back at me.
I'm going to have to look at all his files now, make a big list. There's suspects all over the place.
What do you mean you, Ciccone? Heather is a trained professional. She can handle this perfectly by herself.
No, I can't, Mr. Spencer.
You think that you need Ciccone?
No, sir, you do. I've been assigned to prosecute your case.
Watch your head. Hasidic walks the night.
I beg your pardon?
Hasidic walks the night. It is the curse of Hasidic coming true. By the eye of Ra, all those who shall remove me shall be cursed through generations until the name of Hasidic is restored.
Maybe you're watching a little too much late-night television, Mr. Beheshti.
The wife of the pharaoh was stabbed to death. The wife of Dr. Fowler was stabbed to death. The queen's lover was accused of the murder. Mr. Spencer is accused of murder. Do you know how the pharaoh died, Mr. Ciccone?
Anything like this guy is probably anorexia, right?
The pharaoh was crushed to death at his wife's funeral, just like Dr. Fowler was.
Crushed to death. Wait a second. You're actually asking me to believe that this mummy gets up, he walks the night, he's responsible for 2 deaths?
Yes, Mr. Ciccone. And I fear that the curse has only just begun. Unless these artifacts are returned to the Valley of the Kings, there will be more deaths.
Why are you telling me all this?
You must write about this curse. You must convince the museum to return Hasidic to his proper burial ground.
I'd love to do that for you, Mr. Beheshti, but you see, the problem is I got an editor who thinks I'm crazy. And if I was to write an article about a mummy who gets up and walks around, I think he wouldn't like that too much. He'd probably fire me, okay? I wish you would have told me you were going to go to a movie. I would have brought my popcorn. I'm going. Take it easy.
Mr. Ciccone, you do not have to believe Beheshti. Professor Harvard has deciphered the hieroglyphics and will confirm what Beheshti has said. I did not wish to frighten you. Are you all right?
Who's this guy with you?
That I am afraid I do not know. His identity is still the subject of much confusion.
I bet it is. This Dr. Harvard, you know where I can reach him?
Yes.
Excuse me, Professor Harvard. I want to talk to you about the Curse of Hasidic thing.
Read my book. It'll be published in the fall.
Well, I can't wait that long. Can I just have a few minutes now? Thank you. Then you've got Spencer. He was accused, like the Hasidic guy. And you've got Dr. Fowler, was crushed to death in a very similar fashion to the Pharaoh. Right? So you get what this man is saying? There's a kind of like a similar parallel.
Yes, interesting, Mr. Ciccone. But couldn't be. No. Pure coincidence, 20/20 hindsight, making the facts fit the hypotheses, most unscientific.
So it's just like it's a coincidence, but there's no truth to this thing.
Well, if it were true, then no, it couldn't be.
Well, what? What couldn't be? Your face looked like you were thinking of something.
If it was true, if there was a modern parallel, there would be more deaths to come.
More deaths? Who, why?
2495.
What's it? $24.95 for what?
Price of the book. Information you want. That's what's in books, isn't it? $24.95.
$24.95. I just wanted, like, your opinion.
Well, let me see now. Who died of the curse and how?
Right.
That would be chapters 11 to 14. 1/5 of the book, $5.
The book. $5. I'm a reporter. We don't... It's $2. You don't take credit cards, huh? 35 cents.
Fine, you can owe me the $2.65, Mr. Kearney. Lily, come here, please. Would you get a copy of chapters 11 to 14 for Mr. Ciccone and make up an invoice for $2.65?
Yes, Professor.
Well, thank you. I do sincerely hope you enjoy the book.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
He'll be here soon with it.
You know, I met your nephew. What's his name, Jeffrey?
Oh, Jeffrey, good lad. A little too protective since my troubles.
Troubles?
Overwork. Ended up in the hospital. Had to leave the museum because of it.
Well, he mentioned something about leaving the museum because of the Fowlers, that they were instrumental in having you fired or something like that.
No, not Alicia. A fine woman, Alicia. May she rest in peace. Grand gal on a dig. Oh, she was game for anything, yes. No, it was her husband and that pinstripe Spencer who convinced the board that I shouldn't be curator.
You don't mind my asking, why were you fired?
Said I was mentally incompetent to handle the administration. Look at this, Mr. Ciccone. Just look. Would someone like this write to a crazy man?
It's a letter from Albert Einstein?
And would a man of this stature write to a crazy man?
Albert Schweitzer wrote you a letter.
And how about this one?
Albert Speer.
You see, Mr. Ciccone, I wrote to every important man called Albert. And they all replied.
Right.
Ah, here she is. Thank you.
Chapters 11 to 14.
Thank you, dear. Do have fun, Mr. Ciccone. I'm sure you will.
Right, here's your... Albert's here.
Thank you.
It's great. Thanks a lot. You weren't at the funeral, were you?
No, I was here. I was to have had lunch with Jeffrey, but he canceled. That's the second time in 2 weeks. Not like him. We were to have met at the theater the other night, but he didn't show up. I think he has a girlfriend and doesn't know how to tell me.
Oh, right. Kids nowadays, huh? Well, it's nice meeting you, Professor Albert.
If you need more chapters, do call again.
Right.
All right. Mitonic's closed up 19 points.
Easiest 500 you've ever made.
You're forgetting the beating I took on Doe and Pete last year.
Gold's down. I told you.
Excuse me, Jeffrey. What do you got here, a frat house or brokerage?
Mr. Caccione. What?
I was expecting people to throw food around, you know, like a toga party, frat house thing. You know, this place.
Gee, sounds like an old movie. Can I get you a drink?
No, that's okay. I don't drink.
You sure?
No, I don't.
Glenfiddich.
No.
Single malt.
I just have some peanuts here. I just came back from your uncle.
My uncle? Why?
Well, I'm investigating the crimes, you know. Alicia Fowler and Dr. Fowler, the murders.
I don't understand. I thought the police already had a suspect.
Yeah, but I suspect the suspect didn't do it.
Listen, Mr. Caccione, the Fowlers and Spencer drove my uncle to the brink of nervous collapse. Now, it's taken me 5 years to coax him back to where he is today. Now, I don't want you bothering him with all this.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to bother you a little bit, though, all right? Because I heard you talking to Alicia the day she was murdered.
So?
So where were you the night that she was murdered? Later on that night, where were you?
I was going to go to the theater with my uncle, but he didn't show up.
Yeah. He's probably got a girlfriend, huh?
What do you mean?
See, he said that you didn't show up on the day that Alicia was murdered. He was anticipating you coming over that night. You didn't show up. And also, you weren't there around the time that Dr. Fowler was killed.
Listen, I gotta go. I got a Neo Geo Theo class. Just make yourself at home, okay?
All right, Neo Geo, huh?
Hey, Fonz.
You addressing me?
Some books came for you.
Who sent them?
They were just left at visitor's reception. No calling card.
Must be Heather.
Look, could you ask some of the fellows to keep it down a bit? I'm having trouble sleeping.
Hardness of living.
poisonous. He's just suffering from shock. We'd like to keep him under observation for about 24 hours if we could.
Thank goodness. Can I see him now?
Well, he's been sedated. He's asleep.
Oh, then I'll go. Thanks very much, Doctor. Good night. Mr. Ciccone, would you stop following me around?
Wait a second here, okay? This is all happening. Just like in here, the curse. Look, you might be next.
Don't be ridiculous.
According to this, the next person to die was the Vestal Virgin. Now, she was strangled to death.
And you think I'm the Vestal Virgin?
It's an honorary title, even in those days. Anyway, the Vestal Virgin was the one who accused Heisedek, right? And you're prosecuting Spencer. So you could be the Virgin.
Mr. Ciccone, I'm a prosecutor, not a virgin.
Look, it's possible you could be the Virgin, right?
Mr. Ciccone, I have a date tonight, which I can assure you are not following me on. Now, I've got to get home and change, all right?
Wait a second.
Yes, you can get a ride as far as my apartment, but that's it.
All right,
Come on.
look, you've got to think about this Virgin thing.
I'm safely home now, Mr. Ciccone. You could just call a cab or something.
Wait a second. I came all the way here. Let me see you up to the apartment.
I think you're being overprotective here.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm not a child, please.
I know
I can get up to my apartment by myself.
Come on, I like to hang out with you. What are you complaining about?
Oh, I've got to go back to the car. Let me close in the car.
Wait a second. I'll get a few. Stay right here by the light, okay? In the back of the car?
Yes.
Mummy.
He was in the elevator. He put his hands around me. I think he was trying to kill me.
Did you see the mummy, Chacon?
Not exactly, but I mean, she was screaming, right? She wasn't imagining things.
It was a mummy. It was covered in old bandages. It was awful.
Old bandages. Ace or plain old Johnson & Johnson?
Sergeant Brown, this is no joke. And I demand that you treat it as a serious matter.
Serious? You want me to take it seriously? All right, I'll take it seriously. You want me to phone the museum and ask them if their mummy is running around tonight? All right, I'll phone the museum.
Robinson here, security. What? Is the mummy in his box? Is that like phoning the smoke shop and asking if they have Prince Albert in the can? What? Oh, Sergeant Brown. Okay, I'll go check right away. Hold the line.
There, you happy? The guard is checking on the mummy. Now, why don't you two level with me? You're out having a couple of drinks and you thought it would be fun to play a few jokes on the cops, eh? It is? We'll be right down. The mummy is missing from its box.
Over there?
That's her.
What is going on here?
Your mummy's through the coop.
What does he mean through the coop?
In this box, taking a hike.
I told you, Sergeant Brown, he tried to strangle me.
That I feared them.
Yeah, he's walking in the night.
What you had?
This thing's supposed to look like?
What are we going to put an APB out on him? I'll tell you what he looks like. He's a very nice-looking gentleman. Wears a lot of bandages. Very thin.
What does that look like, Chacon?
It's the mummy.
Ah, geez, he's back. That does it. I'm turning in my badge and cap. I'm not hanging around any place where the exhibits start moving. No way.
As I foretold, Hasidek walks the night.
Why don't you give the guy a sleeping pill? He keeps walking the night. He's an insomniac.
What, are you people off your rockers?
These artifacts must be returned to the Valley of the Kings, or the mummy of Hasidek will walk the night, and there will be more deaths.
This guy didn't walk anywhere.
Well, he took the TCC then. Somebody who looks very much like him was at her place.
He's stiffer than a board. And he didn't kill anybody. And he didn't jump out of your elevator either.
Miss Redford, I implore you. You must persuade the other members of the board to return Hasidek to his rightful place.
Mr. Beheshti, the board is not going to give up a multi-million-dollar exhibit on my say-so.
And I will go directly to Professor Harvard.
What's Harvard got to do with this now?
He was reappointed director of the museum today. I mean, he was a logical choice to take over from Dr. Fowler after he died.
None of the doors or windows were jimmied, Sarge.
Forget it. He's not missing. Let's get out of here.
Professor Harvard.
Ah, Mr. Chacon.
You told me at the museum that I'd find you here.
Yes, every night. They won't let me work while they're excavating.
The real reason I'm here is I'm having problems figuring your Your whereabouts at the time of those two murders.
And I told you I was working on my book.
The problem I have is that there's no witnesses really when you were writing the book, you know? I guess you were working tonight on the book earlier, huh? When the dung beetles attacked Mr. Spencer, those bugs all over his face. And that mummy kind of thing with the bandages, the guy with the strangling Redfern almost trying to kill her.
Earlier this evening, Mr. Ciccone, I was giving my annual address to the alumni club.
Can you prove that?
You can ask one of perhaps 500 people who were there. But what you say about Spencer and Redfern, that can't be true.
No, it's true. I swear to God. It was like beetles tried to bite Spencer and somebody tried to strangle Redfern.
That can't be. The mummy couldn't. You must be lying to me.
Okay, I didn't mean to frighten you. It's the truth.
That is the curse, Mr. Ciccone. Hasidic by the sacred scarabs. The Virgin was strangled.
Yeah, it's like in your book. I know. I read your book.
You must help me.
Help you? What do you mean help you?
Can't you see?
No, what?
The next to die was the scribe. I've written the book. I am the scribe.
You're the scribe. Okay?
Hasidic does walk.
What's with the lights here? It's like an eye in the bank. Pass the deck. You don't really walk tonight, do you? Isn't it possible? You couldn't possibly have done it. I couldn't have done it. Professor didn't do it. Maybe he did.
Years you've worshipped these beetles. Genuflect! 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 Dung beetle! Sacrilege! What are you, an atheist? Okay, watch it.
Don't, please. Don't take it. It is the most valuable piece in the collection. Please.
Speak English.
Please, Mr. Ciccone, put it down gently.
You know my name. What is it, from a previous life or something?
It's only me. Omar Baheshti.
Who? Sorry. Little crazy glue, you'll never know the difference.
I only wish to frighten you. I only wish to frighten people so they would return the artifacts.
Frighten people? There's two people dead.
Baheshti had nothing to do with the murders. It was the murders that gave Baheshti the idea. The dung beetles were not poisonous, Miss Redfern was not harmed, and I pushed the barrel so it would not hit you. I only wish to frighten you.
You're crazy, you know that?
No, not crazy. A patriot.
You didn't kill anyone?
No.
Two people are dead. Who the hell killed them?
Must have been.
Got here just in time. What, Ciccone?
That's a Harvey.
Looks like you've got your murderer now. Never did believe that Spencer did it. Thought it was that woggy fella all along.
Yeah, well, he's still alive.
Really? Well, step aside and I'll
No,
finish him off.
what are you doing? No. He said that he was doing it just to scare people. I believe him.
Of course it was him. He lied. Who else could it be?
You did it. You killed the Fowlers. I can understand why you killed Dr. Fowler, but why'd you kill Alicia?
I loved her. I didn't want her to be with Spencer. 20 years I waited. And when she finally left her husband, she went to him, not to me. He took my job away from me. He took Hasidic from me. I couldn't let her be with him, too.
You didn't kill Spencer, though.
Oh, that would have been too easy. I didn't want him to die. I wanted him to suffer as he made me suffer. To lose something that he loved, so that in his suffering he would be held up to public ridicule.
Yes, it's obvious. It's over now, so you might as well put the gun down.
I could hardly do that, Mr. Ciccone. You are going to die now.
No, that doesn't make sense, because you couldn't possibly prove that it has anything to do with a curse.
Beheshti will kill you. He will have stabbed you through the heart, just as I came into the room. I shot him, but it was too late. It was tragic, I'll tell the police, a minute earlier, and I would have saved your life. You know, Mr. Ciccone, strangely enough, the curse of Hasidic will be fulfilled, just as Beheshti said.
How's that?
The pictograph. I was unable to decipher the last person to die of the curse. That figure could be interpreted as a scholar or a scribe.
Scribe?
Mr. Ciccone, you are a scribe.
Me? No, I can't even spell good.
You are about to die.
I can't type, not even with one finger. I've never even used a word process. I'm a hack. I'm just a hack.
You okay, Beheshti?
I'm all right.
How the heck did this thing? It happened.
I'm hoping and wishing that the next apparition is the sight of you welcoming me home. It's hard enough living without having visions to the left and the right of you. They won't leave me alone. Give me a cool, hard fact. I'm seeing things, believe me, you've never seen before. But little things deceive me, like when you threw me out the door. I couldn't believe my eyes.